Hello, hello. Hey, family. Hey, friend. Welcome back. Happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I just want to share some inspiration with you to get you through this week. We are in a series, Women in the Bible. This is part 3. And I had to move back, y'all. My last setup, I was in the camera like this. We're figuring it out. We are figuring it out. And I thank you so much for stopping by my channel and, hanging out with me. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I post a video. My name is Flo. This is Flo Has Faith. We do inspirational Mondays. Thursdays, we do vlog and we do a little bit of my weight loss journey, which has been really stagnant at the moment, but it's a journey, baby. Keep rocking with me. So today, in Woman in the Bible, plural, Women, I want to talk about a couple of women who are not named. They're not named. And I just wanted to highlight them because I think we need to take hold that no matter what we are doing, and if we are doing good work, God sees us, He knows us, and it does matter. I shared a story before a long time ago in my career. Oh, you know what? I put it as a story time. But I did share a story where I actually met someone. He was a patient and he was considered a VIP patient. I can't remember his name. I don't know this man to save my life. It was an older white gentleman, a CEO of a company. I was working as a nursing assistant, but he told his wife that that young lady is very intelligent and wise, and she could do whatever she wanted to do. She probably could run this hospital. And she came and pulled me to the side and she wanted to tell me. At first, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Because he was a very important person, albeit we're not supposed to have very important people. Every patient is supposed to be the same. Um, so for her to pull me to the side and tell me what her husband expressed to her was literally life changing. I think I was taking a class and it was tough and I was on the verge of giving up. And it's just an example that God will use who He chooses. And you never know how you are going to impact the next person. You never know what kind word, gesture, act of kindness that you may do, albeit you might not be named for it. No one might not put your name in the highlights or put it in the lights or clap and you're not in the newspaper. But God sees our efforts. He does. And I think there are so many times when we beat up on ourselves, when we think we're not being seen or no one is seeing the work that we are doing. God sees it. So I wanted to talk about 3 different women. Now, one lady, boy, oh boy, I had no idea as I was trying to figure out, because I think there's 5 different stories, but I just wanted to cover 3 of them. One lady, it goes back and forth. I mean, some accounts are calling her Mary Magdalene, but then there are other times when they're saying that this particular woman could not have been Mary Magdalene because it happened at a different time with a different assignment. So we'll touch on her last, but I wanted to speak to this woman who was a widow, and she is considered to be the son, the widow's son of Nan, right? So essentially, what happened? This woman was a widow, and she only had one son. And so Jesus was going to Nan. I'm not sure exactly where he was coming from, but there was this town called Nan. And so um, the son dies. Now, back in the day, if the widow was the widow, she would look forward to her sons to help provide for her. So now she already lost her husband. She's mourning that she loses the son, and then it's almost like this deep depression of what am I going to do? Because now how am I going to eat? How am I going to provide? And Jesus saw her. He saw her pain. I just love that he sees us, y'all. So let me just read real quick. This is Luke I'm going to be on my squint game, y'all, because my glasses are downstairs somewhere. Okay? So this is Luke chapter 7. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 12. As he approached the gate of the town, a man had died as Jesus approached and was being carried out. He was his mother's only son, and she was a widow. And with her was a large crowd from the town. When the Lord saw her, he was moved with compassion for her and said to her, "Do not cry." Then he came forward and touched the bier, and the bearer stopped. And he said, "Young man, I say to you, rise." Young man, I say to you, rise. The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized all of them, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has risen among us, and God has visited his people." I am here to tell you, this woman, she's not even named. As a matter of fact, the son isn't even named. But this is just an account to show that whether your name is not being broadcasted, right? Or maybe you don't know that other people are speaking well of you. Jesus sees you. He sees you. What are the hidden hurts? The things you tell no one, right? The pain that you carry on your own. The fear, the trauma, the guilt. He sees it. He sees it. He sees you, and he knows. And I just love that, albeit this woman was not named, she still has a great impact because we can remember that Jesus sees us. He has compassion and empathy for us. He knows our hurts, our woes, our pains, and he wants us to come to him, right? Let's talk about the other woman who's not named. And of course, you know about this woman. This is the Samaritan woman. I love this story because it's almost as if she was ready to clap back at Jesus in a way, right? So this woman, you may be familiar with the story, but if you're not, back in the day, Samaritans and Jews, they did not associate with each other. And so Jesus was at the well, high sun in the afternoon. And this was a time when this woman probably came to the well because no one else would be there. So she kind of waited to make sure no one else was around. Now, Jesus' disciples were nowhere to be seen. He was at the well by himself. And so when this Samaritan woman comes up, um, he asks her, "Will you give me a drink?" And she really looks at him like, "You know, you are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. So why are you asking me for a drink? Why are you asking me for a drink, Jesus?" Again, he sees us, right? So this is Luke 4. John 4. I'm sorry, guys. John 4. And so the Samaritan, this is starting at verse 9. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" And Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." And so then she says, "Give me this water. I won't go thirsty and have to keep coming to draw." And he told her, "Go call your husband and come back," right? And she said, "I don't have a husband." And Jesus said, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true. So Jesus sometimes will call you on your stuff, baby. And this is the thing. We can't be afraid of it because his passion and empathy for us to call us on the things that we know we are not supposed to be doing, it is all because he loves us. It is all because he sees us. It is all because he desires better for us. And I think that's good to think about because people look at the Bible, especially nowadays, they look at the Bible and they look at things that we are called not to do as so restrictive and boring. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to create this channel, because living a Christian lifestyle does not have to mean that you're bored and you're not enjoying life. That's a bold-faced lie, right? If she's had 5 husbands and the one that she is not with now is not her husband, but yet she the one that's drawing the water and the heat, um, you know, there is something to be said that Jesus sees us again. So the first time we're looking at Jesus seeing us in our sorrow. This time we are looking at Jesus seeing us in our sin. In our sin. When we're messing up, when we are doing things we have no business doing, when we are not humbling ourselves, right? He even sees us in our sin. And the thing about it is, seeing us in our sin, he wants us to come out. He wants us to come to him. He is saying to her, if you knew who was asking you for water, you would be like trying to drink from me. And that is what God says to us too. Like, if you knew the lifestyle that I'm trying to call you out of, or the sin that I'm trying to pull you out of, so that you can be on the other side that is fulfilling and loving, you would definitely come to Jesus and do the work that he is asking of us. And it's all out of compassion and it's all out of love. So he sees us in our sorrow. He sees us in our sin, right? And the third woman, this one was controversial. I think I need to do a little more studying, or it's not that I need to do more studying, it's just that some people have a different opinion about who this particular woman was. So, this isn't the woman at the well, actually. This is the subtitle for this particular woman. It just says that she's a sinful woman, forgiven. But some people have confused this particular woman to also be Mary Magdalene. And the reason is, I thought that it would be nice, as we are going into Holy Week next week, to talk about the woman that washed his feet, uh, which was thought to be Mary Magdalene at one point in time. But this particular time, what the research is saying, that this was a year prior to the time with Mary Magdalene, and that this woman is unnamed. So essentially what happened was, there was a Pharisee named Simon, this is a different Simon from the other one, who invited Jesus to come to his house. And so he went to him to eat. And a woman who was a sinner in the city, it doesn't say what she is when they call her sinner. Sometimes they're are considered to be ladies of the night or whatever. Um, she stood behind him, and she just started weeping. She just started weeping. Can you imagine weeping so much that she was able to wash his feet with her tears and then dry his feet with her hair? And this is of big significance, because back then, in those times, you have to think culturally, they were not wearing sneakers like we wear, right? They were wearing sandals, and your feet got dirty, and it was culturally considered a part of something that you should do when you have a guest, especially somebody like Jesus. You offer to wash his feet, right? But that was not done. And so when this woman is standing behind him, I don't know how she got in the house. Who was around your house, Simon? But y'all judging her. But anywho, um, so she starts to wash his feet with her tears, because she's just weeping. She is just so sorrowful, and it can be guilt, and it just can be honoring him of who he is. And she is just heartbroken, right? So she's weeping and she's crying, and she's crying so much that she starts to wash his feet. Like, let me just take care of you, get all that dust and sand off your feet. And then she's drying it with her hair. And the most magnificent thing is that, they started to judge her, and they're judging her, they're judging Jesus, and they're saying, like, if he knew who this woman that was at his feet, he surely would not want to hang out with her. I came here and you didn't offer it. You didn't offer for me to wash my feet. You didn't bring me a bucket, right? Leave her alone. Let her be. And I think that is wonderful for us to remember, that God sees us when we are brokenhearted. He sees us, right, when we're in sorrow because of a death and we're mourning and scared, and he provides. He sees us when we are just in our sin, and he sees us when we are so sorrowfully brokenhearted and just want to honor him. I just want us to remember, especially as Christians, this is like the Super Bowl of Christianity. A lot of people think it's Christmas, and yes, Christmas is exciting, because if there was no birth, there would not be a death. But coming into Holy Week, coming into knowing that Jesus sees us, my prayer is for you as we go into Holy Week, is that you will really consider the debt that was paid for you and me, and remember that he sees us. It is a wonderful song that just gives me chills. Maverick City used to sing, and it's just when they say that when he's on the cross, he see you. Just imagine that even though Jesus died for the world, he personally died for your sins. He personally died for my sins. When we need help, he sees us. He sent the comforter to see us specifically. And I don't want you to forget that. And I just think that even though I could have gone into naming other ladies, I was thinking about doing Eve, I was thinking about doing Judge Deborah, and that could be something that we could do too. But I just was thinking, like, how powerful to talk about these women that were not named, that had no names, but they had great impact. And whether they are named in the Bible or they are not, Jesus sees us, and he knows your name. He knows your name, baby. Whether you are a woman, a man, girl, boy, child, he sees you, he knows you, he loves you. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. So thank you for rocking with me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. Why is that word so subscribe? I think one time I was editing and I looked back and I said prescribe, baby. Listen, thank y'all for rocking with me. I hope this is inspiring to you. Know that Jesus sees you, and have a wonderful, blessed week. All right. God bless you real good.